Because the memes end up giving the spotlight to his rival Erebus, I really think it is underrated by the fandom how much of a conniving and abusive piece of shit Corpheron is, and I really want a Corpheron series, so we can see more of the absolute moral abyss that is his life. His story is also really compelling, especially as he is a mirror image of Erebus. Corpheron began as a fanatical true believer, and then became an insincere huckster, whereas Erebus began as an insincere huckster and became a fanatical true believer. Erebus is a deluded zealot. Kor's worship of the Four is really only about getting power for Kor, and despite every setback and humiliation, the old bastard has been successfully dancing on the razor's edge for over 10,000 years. Lilith. Read even the tiniest about her and you'll see why I think she's underrated. The Vizarch. The fanbase's general view of him is of some simp that's constantly jealous about Yvraine or something. In the actual lore, he's more of a father figure to Yvraine as well as the only exarch to ever recover his sense of self, something that the other exarchs look at with confusion and disgust. Pre-Inari, he joined and subsequently took over an entire Incubi shrine and inspired such incredible loyalty that the entire shrine defected to the Inari along with him. These Incubi would then go on to aid the Vizarch in the Inari's successful invasion of Nurgle's garden to recover the Hand of Darkness. He also wields the Sword of Silent Screams. You know, the literal Sword of Seraphyu. That's so incredibly stupid and over the top that it swings right back into being amazing. I really want more Archenland. Despite being quite conceited, he has a good heart, and genuinely wants to make the Imperium a better place through technological innovation. He also has a mechanical monkey companion and is freaking hilarious in many of his scenes. It's a shame that he only got a small handful of scenes in the HH. Karandras. I think amongst all the Phoenix Lords besides Asserman, he has some of the best potential for good character writing simply for his origin. The entire drama between him and Ara, also known as Drajar, is such a cool setup. We know after Ara turned traitor they fought for days and Karandras only survived by tricking Ara after the latter gave in to his bloodlust. The fact that he's not the original Phoenix Lord of the Scorpions makes him even more interesting, and we see that even after thousands of years the rest of the Phoenix Lords still kinda treat him like a little brother. He also seems to be a little bit of a goofball, which is just charming when juxtaposed against the fact that he's the Phoenix Lord of the Striking Scorpion. Overall, lovely little elf assassin needs more spotlight. Hope he gets a Phoenix Lord novel like Asserman and Jane Czar one of these days. Canis Rex, the only playable named knight and kind of a badass, yet received very little love. Most of the named Iron Warriors, specifically Hansu, he's such a wanker, I love him. There's a part in Storm of Iron where he chucks a cultist around a corner, face first, distracting some Imperial fists so he can get the drop on them. He also almost gets dropped in melee combat by a mortal human because he's a punk. He's the kind of mustache-twirling prick I want to see more of. Would kill to read more books where he's the protagonist. Iskandar Kaon is so underrated even by the Black Library themselves that they didn't even give his armor a proper black paint job. The significance of Alfarius and Omegon and the rest of the Alpha Legion are often overlooked. They were one of the most powerful legions pre-heresy and during, and still have a lot of thumbs and a lot of pies. Colonel Ironhand Straken repulsed a phalanx of demon engines with 22 men, 10 laser guns, and short-fused mining charges. Defeated a Dark Elder Archon by bursting its head as if it were a watermelon. Took down a Hive Tyrant with 4 blows from his bionic arm after a healthy dosage of demolition charges were applied to it. Waged guerrilla warfare against the Orcs alongside Sly Marbo and came away victorious in a one-on-one duel with Snickrot. Ambushed and throttled a Night Lord's Chaos Lord to death with a toxic barbed plant root. Pisses off the commissariat by being better at their jobs than them. Extremely competent commander, pushes his troops to be the best and doesn't force them to do anything he wouldn't do himself. Successor to Colonel Grice, who was essentially Nork Deadog's best friend. This absolute unit needs more novels about his exploits. Probably any of the Xenos named characters, only a handful of them will ever get a novelization, unlike Imperium or Chaos characters. Most Chaos characters, Lucius, Typhus, Abaddon, a dumb preference has taken hold for heroic characters and decrying really villainous characters as weak despite there being plenty of reason to see them as very powerful. Probably just Imperium fanboyism. Like Typhus is a backstabbing traitor, therefore he's weak and lame. Nah, he's the Traveler, the greatest mortal servant of Nurgle, commander of the Terminus S, host of the Destroyer Hive, lead catalyst of the Plague of Unbelief. He's an absolute powerhouse and a force of unnature, and Lucius is just having a great time.